An employee is signed off work with severe stress after months of pressure from management. Just a week later, while still off sick, an email suddenly lands in their inbox. The subject line reads, "Invitation to disciplinary hearing." Suddenly, the employee is panicking. Can they actually do this while I'm off sick? The short answer is yes, potentially. But whether it is fair or lawful really depends heavily on the circumstances and on how the employer handles the process. And, this is where many employers get themselves into trouble. A lot of employees just assume sickness absence freezes everything at work. It does not. Being signed off sick does not automatically prevent an employer from investigating misconduct or continuing disciplinary procedures. For example, if serious allegations arise involving misconduct, fraud, bullying, or breaches of workplace policy, an employer may still decide action needs to continue even while someone is absent. But here's the important part. The employer still has a duty to act reasonably. And that means considering the employee's health carefully throughout the process. We dealt with a case involving an employee signed off with anxiety and depression who was invited to multiple disciplinary meetings in quick succession. The employee repeatedly explained that attending was affecting their mental health, but the employer pushed ahead anyway, without medical input. That became a major issue later when legal claims were raised. Because employers cannot simply ignore medical evidence. If someone is genuinely too unwell to participate properly in a disciplinary process, employers should usually consider alternatives. That might mean postponing meetings, obtaining occupational health advice, allowing written responses instead of attendance, or adjusting the process in other reasonable ways. Now, let's talk about timing, because this really does matter. Sometimes disciplinary action starts before the sickness absence begins. Other times, employees believe the disciplinary process itself caused the illness. And that can make situations legally complicated very quickly. For example, if someone is signed off due to workplace stress linked to bullying or management conduct, aggressively pursuing disciplinary action during that absence may potentially increase legal risks for the employer, especially where mental health or disability issues are involved. And here is something many people miss. If the underlying health condition amounts to a disability under the Equality Act 2010, employers may have additional duties to make reasonable adjustments during the disciplinary process itself. That could include changing how meetings are conducted, extending deadlines, or allowing support during discussions. Another important point is this: employers should avoid treating sickness absence as proof of misconduct. We sometimes see assumptions like, they are only off sick to avoid disciplinary action. That kind of thinking can become dangerous without proper evidence. Now, does being off sick mean disciplinary action is automatically unfair? No. But fairness depends on the process. Was the employee given a fair opportunity to respond? Was medical evidence considered? Did the employer behave reasonably in the circumstances? Those questions matter enormously in employment tribunal claims. So what should you do if you are off sick and facing disciplinary action? First, do not ignore letters or emails from your employer completely. Second, explain clearly if your health affects your ability to participate and provide medical evidence where possible. And third, seek legal advice early if the process feels rushed, unfair, or connected to discrimination or workplace stress. At Blackstone Solicitors, based in England, we help employees facing disciplinary action during sickness absence, including cases involving stress, mental health, and disability discrimination. Because being off sick does not remove your legal rights at work.